Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman. I'm coming back at you with a brand new video. What else would I come back with? Why do I say a brand new video? Not like I'm going to come back at you with an old video. Anyway, what are we going to do today? Well, I like to talk about stupid things. We look at stupid merchandise from Star Trek, stupid merchandise from the 80s, and in this series, this episode of the series anyway, we're going to look at stupid He-Man Masters of the Universe merchandise. Now we're going to stay away from the figures. Although they did do some silly He-Man action figures, we're going to not talk about those. We're going to look at other merchandise besides the action figure line. But before we do that, as always, support the channel. Go to patreon.com, become a Patreon supporter. If not, go to jackjunkman.com, buy a cool t-shirt like this one right here, and help support the channel. And who knows, with no support, maybe I'll get a new chair. So you don't have to hear this. So you don't have to hear this all through the videos. Ugh. Spit on my new table. Why did I say new? Okay, are you ready to look at 10 stupid Masters of the Universe collection? Why did I say? Are you ready to look at 10 stupid He-Man Masters of the Universe merchandise? Now, I don't know about you, but I always just call it He-Man. I remember me and my brother used to get into the argument. I would say, hey, I want to watch He-Man. I want to play He-Man, or I just bought a new He-Man toy. It's not He-Man, it's Masters of the Universe. I was like, come on. He used to get me the same thing. He'd get at me about the same thing when I tell him I want to watch V the series. I'd be like, hey, at 8 o'clock, V the series comes on. I've got to watch this new episode. Mark Singer's going to do this whole dance number. I've got to see it. It's not called V the series. It's just called V. No, it was V the series. At least that's what it said in my trusty TV guide. But we're getting way off topic here. So, let's talk about some crazy He-Man merchandise. And let's start at number 10, although these aren't really in any order, because they're all wacky and goofy and stupid. But here's number 10. It's the He-Man Flash Camera, or as the box says, the He-Man 110 camera. Not really sure what it means by 110, but as you can see, the camera is shaped like Castle Grayskull, with He-Man standing on the outside, holding his axe, and I guess guarding the castle and all of its secrets. If you were a parent in the 80s, and you wanted to make sure that your kid got bullied, give him this camera to walk around town with. A Castle Grayskull camera. That's just asking for a beating. Not saying it's justified, don't get me wrong. But come on, we all know how it was to be a bully back in the 80s. They found any reason at all to pick on us. Pick on them. I wouldn't carry anything like this. You know what I mean. I wasn't one of those dorks. I didn't have a camera like that. But that's a look at the He-Man camera. I could be wrong, but I bet the picture quality was horrible. So, we've got that out of the way. Now, let's check out number 9. If the camera didn't get you beat up, I'm sure this would have. The Masters of the Universe Belt Medallion. It plays 4 different messages. And all you have to do to get the talk is pull the string. And if this wannabe WWF wrestling belt didn't get you beat up in class, I'm sure the wrist medallion that it came with would. What kid wore this? Now, I loved He-Man. But I tell you, even myself, if I saw some kid walking down the street in my neighborhood wearing this belt, I would walk up to him and say, hey, where'd you get that groovy belt? Awesome. Do they make Trapjaw? And look at these kids on the box. Let's zoom in. There it is. The 80s bold haircut. You have to have that, right? And what's the other kid in the blue looking at? I don't think that's He-Man he's got his eye on. Now, kids today, they got it made. When they listen to music, they just pick up something like this right here. They don't even have a cord. They just stick it in their ears. Unless maybe they're Geek the Gamer kid. And then they got some really big headphones they wear around their neck. Still don't know why some YouTubers wear headphones. But anyway, back in the 80s, you didn't have your little earbud to stick in your ear to look cool. You had to look cool with a Walkman. You know, that big hunk of brick that you put a cassette tape in. It was about this thick, at least in the early 80s. Then it got down to about like that by the late 80s. But then came the glorious 90s, where we had the portable CD player. Hook it onto your belt. A lot of times if you went walking with it, it'd pull your pants down. But it was nice. CD player. And I know everyone was crazy because it had anti-skip. But if you ask me, the best thing about that CD player? Bass boost. Because sometimes, when I was listening to my Randy Travis CD, I thought, this is great, but Digging Up Bones sure could use a little bit more bass. And I hit the boost bass button. Digging Up Bones. Oh, anyway, we're talking about the He-Man crazy merchandise or stupid merchandise. Here it is, the AM radio headset. And again, it's just AM because kids love to listen to Larry King. This He-Man radio has a belt clip, so you don't have to listen to it just in your room, as it hooks onto your belt and has an adjustable headset. Now let's look at this thing out of the box. Whoa, that is some scary, creepy mess. That's the thing of nightmares. Now, I did love my Walkman back in the 80s, but in the early 80s, there was something I was really in love with, and that was my tape recorder. Do you remember tape recorders? I guess people don't have tape recorders anymore. I had a big blue one. You push the button, put the tape in. You always have to hit play to listen to the tape, but you would have to hit play and record at the same time, and if you were fancy, you had a little orange button that would pop up. Mine didn't have an orange button that popped up. Mine was just a generic tape recorder that I got at Radio Shack. But anyway, I loved that thing because I would take the microphone and record Star Wars commercials on my audio tape. I would be my own DJ. Good times. And I didn't know they made a He-Man Master Universe tape deck. I would have got it. Let's take a look at it. And here it is in all its green glory. The take-along cassette player. Not only could you play, stop, and record, you could also rewind and fast-forward your cassette tapes. And there, right on the speaker, was best buds in the world, He-Man and Skeletor. That thing looks so stupid, I don't have any more I can add to it. But when I was getting this list of stupid He-Man merchandise, there was one that I thought, now that's just awesome. Why didn't I have that? I probably would have been a little too old for it, but it looks pretty darn cool. Now we all know about the Castle Grayskull playset, the one that came with the figures. But what about the one that you could get inside? The Castle Grayskull Playhouse. Look how much fun that is. You set it up and you climb inside and have a lot of adventures with your He-Man toys and your He-Man friends. Best of all, it's easy to assemble, snaps together in a plastic frame. It was washable in case your friend Boyd had an accident inside. It was flame retardant in case your friend Mike decided to light a cigarette. And it was sturdy in case Fat Jacob just wanted to bust through the door. I got a feeling this thing would have been broke within the first 20 minutes, if that long. I noticed something else about the box. Look at this. Kid size? They have to put on the box as size for kids? Did they make an adult one of this? I hope they did, and I hope I can find one. They also made another one of these Playhouses that's in a different box made by a different company. And to me, at least for the box, it looks a lot better. Check it out. Castle Grayskull Playhouse. This one looks a little different, but just look at this box. This has to be the best Skeletor and He-Man cosplay I've ever seen. I do like that the kids wore their matching socks that matched the costume. Very creative. Now I don't know if this was all over the world, just in the South, or just in America, or what, so let me know. But back in the 80s, when you went to your local fair, not the circus. I hate when people call the fair the circus, but that's a whole different story. Circus has tents and clowns and all that. But the fair has toothless hillbillies that just put up a tilt-a-whirl about 2 hours before you got there. And boy did I love it. Not only could you get cotton candy, an elephant ear, corn dog. If you ask me, corn dog might be the best food on a stick. Maybe. But there was one thing that you could always win at the fair. Besides those big stuffed animals that had little BB pellets inside of it that seemed like they were put together in China, there was always a must-go-to because it was easy to win. There was always a game where they would put all these balloons on a backboard, and you would throw a dart at it, and if you popped a balloon, or popped 3 I think, you got a free mirror. Yep, you heard me right, a mirror. They were all kinds of mirrors that you could win. Most of these mirrors you could win were music related. I mean, I remember seeing Faster Pussycat, Rat, Kiss without the makeup, Def Leppard, Lisa Loeb, Metallica. A lot of heavy metal bands like Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Color Me Bad. But yes, you could get a He-Man related fair glass. Let's take a look at 2 of them. First up is the He-Man glass, in that frame that I think every fair put it in, with the robot character. I'm sorry, I forgot his name right now. I'll just call him Robo-Man. But this is a cool looking design. Be honest, if I could find a big photo of this, or if I could draw it, I would put this on a shirt. And this one isn't bad either. Again, in that same cardboard frame, this one shows Cringer on the attack. The county fair. I don't know what was easier, busting those balloons with a dart and winning a prize, or catching lupus. Now, there was one thing you had to do if you were going to the fair, that's take your money with you. And you had to save your money. All year you would save up for the fair. I mean, after all, it would cost you $20 and you would get about 10 tickets, and each ride would cost about 5 tickets. What a ripoff. Or you could go on Wednesday night when you get the band around your arm for $30 and ride every ride you want. Seems like a great deal till you get there and find out that's what everybody else did on Wednesday night, and the line was so long it would take you 2 hours to ride. So either way, if you went on a normal day where you had to pay so much for a ticket, or you bought the band to ride all you wanted as many times as you want, either way, you're only going to ride about 5 rides. 1, because the tickets cost so much, or because the lines are so long. But I'm not here to do a video about the county fair. And believe me, I could do a whole video rant about the county fair. But we're talking about saving your money. We're talking about saving your money in a He-Man or Skeletor bank. There's no better place to hide your money than inside the head of Prince Adam. Wait, that's He-Man. Sorry, I get them mixed up, although they look nothing alike. And maybe it's the strap around his neck holding him on the package, but it looks like it's on really tight and he's making a look on his face like it's choking him to death. Or maybe that's his constipation look. But not only could you put your money in He-Man, you could also put it in the head of Skeletor. Now these are some crazy looking toys. Who needs a bank when you have a Skeletor or a He-Man head to put your money in? Especially back then when you were a kid, because we didn't have bills. We just had change. Now, we talked about wearing silly stuff that would probably get you beat up back in the 80s, like the He-Man belt. This one here, you might be able to get away with because it's so small. You could sneak it onto your clothes and the bullies wouldn't know. It hooks onto your zipper so you could just zip it up. And maybe even tuck it away where no one would even notice it. Of course, we're talking about the Skeletor Zipper. Now this one here is just a Skeletor zipper, but zipper clips. Apparently they made more than just Skeletor, but we're just looking at Skeletor for this video. If you want a whole video about zipper clips, sorry, this isn't the video for you. You see this guy in his yellow raincoat with a fuzzy collar? He has a He-Man zipper clip. And remember to remove the zip clip before cleaning your clothes. I was a dork, but come on. I wasn't that dorky to wear that. Sitting in class, taking your Skeletor, zipping it up and down, looking at it. Who would wear something like that? Who would put that on their zipper? Who would zip up their raincoat with Skeletor and He-Man up and down? Now, if they made a Boba Fett, school would have been a lot better. Teacher could have talked all day and I would have been just looking at my Boba Fett zipper and maybe taking a break here and there to play Pac-Man on my Pac-Man wristwatch. Good days. Back when we could play a game on our body. Anyway, what else do we have to look at? Well, if having a He-Man toy on your zipper wasn't your thing, what about having one on a straw? The clip and sip. You attach your little Skeletor, or I guess He-Man, onto your straw, stick it down in the cup, enjoy a nice drink of Kool-Aid while you look at your He-Man toy. I don't know what this does other than just sticks on the straw. This thing is so stupid, they couldn't even find a kid to play with it for the picture. They had to draw a kid playing with it. And whoa, what an ugly drawing that is. Why would you want to suck on a straw and look down at He-Man or Skeletor? I mean, I get it. I loved He-Man. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't need to see it 24 hours. I didn't need to have He-Man on my ears, look down at He-Man on my zipper while I take a drink and look at the He-Man on my straw. Get over it, kids. This is not Star Wars. Now, if it's Star Wars, plastered on everything, right? Clip, sip. Clip and sip. I wish I had one. What's next? Oh, we're at number 1. And I know this is stupid He-Man merchandise, but this is probably number 1 also for the creepiest He-Man merchandise. A Don Post mask. And I'm not talking about the He-Man mask or Skeletor mask. I'm talking about Saddam Hussein mask. I guess that's who it is. I mean, I guess it's wearing a Man-at-Arms hat, but look at this. It's either Saddam Hussein, maybe it's Ron Jeremy, or maybe it's Mario after he has some kind of stroke. Whatever it is creepy. Can you imagine opening the door to this and hearing trick or treat, and you see this thing on some kid's head? I can't even look at this thing anymore. That is the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my whole life. We did it. We looked at 10 stupid He-Man Masters of the Universe merchandise. Did you have any of these? Do you wish you had some of them? Do you want to say, Junkman, that ain't stupid. That's pretty cool. Let me have some of those. Well, I'll be honest with you. They're not all that stupid. The Playhouse tent thing would have been kind of cool as a kid. Although the zipper thing is kind of corny, I probably would have put it on the zipper on my book bag or something, other than my jacket. I mean, that's kind of goofy. The bank, the glass from the fair, crazy stuff. Anyway, that's a look at 10 stupid or maybe totally awesome He-Man merchandise. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of these 10s and which ones maybe I missed. Until the next video, as always, please thumb up this one so I know you like my content. Come on, Thumpkin. And subscribe to the channel. Till the next video, we'll talk again.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.